Hey friends, how are you? I hope you're having a great day and staying hydrated, drinking your water. The weather has been so beautiful right in the area. And this month in May, we have been focusing on May You Be Well, right? It's just like a fun little thing that I thought would be nice. And each week we've been focusing on a different wellness topic. So we started with nutrition, moved into hydration, and this week we are focusing on sleep, right? And why sleep is so important, we're going to talk about today, and how skimping on sleep can actually sabotage your goals and your weight loss goals too. So important that we're bringing awareness to this. And just think about those nights when you're not getting enough sleep. And this is like a common cycle, right? When we're sleep deprived, the first thing we're doing in the morning is leaning on a huge coffee, and that's the first thing we're grabbing. And then think about your nutrition on those days, right? It's typically very quick and thoughtless, and maybe more carbs and sugar, less planned meals, maybe getting more takeout and having dinner takeout because you're just so tired. You have to push through and do the top things you need to do of work and responsibilities, and then nutrition comes more secondhand. And then at night, we zone out in front of the TV. We're probably overtired. Again, maybe we're snacking again, more thoughtless. And then all of a sudden it's 11 o'clock, right? And it's like, oh my gosh, I have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So the cycle just can repeat, right? Of not getting enough sleep, and the way that we're going to bed and our bedtime routine, all these things can play a role in this for sure. And I am not about like fear-based anything. So I'm not, saying that one night not getting adequate sleep is going to hinder anything. This is more like chronic, right? If this is a chronic thing for you happening for an extended period of time that we're not addressing, this is where we can see more of the detrimental effects. So I polled you guys in the group this week, and I asked you, how many hours of sleep are you getting on average on weeknights? And kind of tied, many of you said between 6 to 7, and many of you said between 7 to 9, right? So just to give you some stats, the National Sleep Foundation suggests the optimal amount of sleep for school-age children is about 8 to 11 hours. For teenagers is about 8 to 10 hours. And for adults is about 7 to 9 hours. So the problem, right, that we're seeing is that 1/3 of Americans is actually chronically sleep deprived. So on a regular basis, getting less than 6.5 hours, and being sleep deprived, like truly deprived, is really like less than 5 hours, like really hard to function on a lot of levels. So the average American's getting about 6:30, like we said, and I see this a lot with people I work with, just constantly undersleeping, right, and just not getting enough rest. So think about it, like when you're not getting sleep, you feel awful, right? You feel lethargic, low energy, and it's just like survival every day. So while it's true that our food can also create energy that we need to perform daily tasks, the extra food is not compensating for this lack of sleep, right? So eating more because you're not getting sleep as a form of energy actually can make you feel worse and more sluggish and more tired. Maybe temporarily you get that like quick high, right, of, oh my gosh, I feel better for like 10 minutes or 30 minutes from the sugar, but then we crash again, right? And then it's that low, and it's like a roller coaster we're riding. It's like, I need another like high to get me through, and then I drop and I'm low again. So we need to find, more of this regulation with our blood sugar too. So the frontal lobe in our brain is responsible for decision-making and impulse control. So if we're not getting enough sleep, activity in this part of our brain is actually dulled. So it's harder to have that like logical reasoning, right, of actually being thoughtful with our choices and maybe pausing first before making a decision and before being as reactive. So it can be harder to, make some of those better choices that we know are going to make us feel better if we're not getting enough sleep. It's kind of like that feeling of being drunk, right? It's like we don't have that logical reasoning. It's a lot more impulsive, a lot more thoughtless, and not really that follow through. So the reward center in our brain is also revved up right now, and it's looking for that feel good effect. It's looking for that hit essentially, right? And that can be what gives us that caffeine and sugar and, that quick energy source. So if you're sleep deprived, maybe it's going to be harder to say no to a second bowl of ice cream, or maybe you realize, oh my gosh, I just ate a whole bag of chips and I didn't even realize that in the moment. So studies actually indicate that people starved on sleep are more likely to snack at night, choose higher energy dense foods. So foods that are higher in fat are more energy dense, more calorie dense, and foods that are higher in carbohydrates, because those are going to be foods that are going to be quickly converted to energy in the form of sugar. That again, temporarily make us feel better, but not long term. And then also, typically, people that don't get enough sleep are more likely to eat larger portions. And obviously, all of these different variables can definitely play a role if we're trying to lose weight and trying to feel better, right, during the day. There's also a lot of changes that can happen with our appetite regulation. So appetite is not just physical symptoms where, yes, you feel your stomach growling, noticing that you're hungry, but there's chemical messengers that are playing a central role in appetite, and that's ghrelin and leptin. So ghrelin promotes hunger and tells us that we're needing energy, we're needing calories, and leptin contributes to the feeling of fullness. So our body naturally increases and decreases these levels of neurotransmitters, this communication and this signaling throughout the day, saying, hey, I'm hungry, I need calories, I need to eat, and hey, I'm full, we can move on now. So lack of sleep can really dysregulate this communication, and it can actually cause an increase in ghrelin. So we actually feel hungrier, and decreases in leptin. So this dysregulation starts to happen in our natural hormone communication. And this affects, again, the foods that we're choosing, right? Because we're wanting that quick energy. This can also lead to too little sleep can spike cortisol, which is our stress hormone. So our body is feeling in this state of stress. And when this happens too, our body thinks, when we're in a state of stress, we need to fight or flight. And when we're releasing adrenaline and cortisol constantly, even if we're not truly in a state of danger, essentially, we're not going to die, right? Our body will release glucose as energy of I need to run, I need to fight, I need to, use this energy to run from a bear, but we're actually not needing to do that, right? So when we're constantly pushing out surges of glucose into our bloodstream, but we're not using that energy to run from danger, that energy ends up being stored. So we're not using that energy. And again, this is that hormone dysregulation. So this can start over time leading to glucose intolerance and insulin resistance because of disruptions in your body's natural rhythm. Our body has a circadian rhythm that thrives off of going to sleep and waking up at similar times, eating at similar times. So this disruption can affect just that communication signaling in our body. It's confused of what's going on. So again, this isn't going to happen overnight, but it's this constant over time that can really play a role. And I know there's so many challenges with how we can get better sleep at night. And I think I'm going to make this a 2-part video because I want to transition into some tips to how you can improve your sleep quality and sleep routine, because I know that was a lot of information. So I'm going to break this up into 2 videos. I'm going to jump on again and do one related to some tips for a more sound snooze, and how to improve your sleep quality and sleep routine. So let me know if that was helpful, guys. This is something that I am working on with so many people, and myself included, of the bedtime routine. We really need to focus on how we can improve the sleep quality, and it's it's going to change how you show up in so many aspects and how you feel in your workouts, your concentration, your productivity, the foods that you're choosing. It's so related. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. Give me a heart below if that resonated with you. What are your challenges with sleep? I'm going to jump on again, like I said, and talk about some strategies and how we can improve this. But I would love to know things that are challenges with sleep for you or things that work really well for you to share with the group. I think that would be really helpful for everybody. So thanks for joining Team Live. Kayla, what's up? So good to see you. Hey, Alyssa, thanks for joining Team Live. If you're watching this as a replay, let me know, Team Replay. I love to hear from you. I love to see you. Thank you so much as always, and may you continue to be well throughout the month, and let me know if there's anything I can do for you. Talk soon, friends.